But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened with $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes were put there a number of hours before. Antifa exists. You used the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly. And the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up. And they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. Not good. Believe me, not good. And then they have cans of soup. Soup, a force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, and when they get caught, and when they get caught, and then they have cans of soup. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then my family. And when they get caught, and then they have cans of soup.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
All of a sudden, we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
Get your words straight, Jack. Get your words straight, Jack. Get your words straight, Jack. Get your words straight, Jack.
Dumb people, liberal people, dumb people, liberal people, dumb people, liberal people, dumb people, liberal people, dumb people. people, liberal people, dumb people, liberal people, dumb people, dumb people, dumb people, dumb people, dumb 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 people, dumb people, dumb people, dumb 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 people, dumb people, liberal dumb 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 people, liberal people.
Really, how many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they said, "Ah, the hell with it, I'll move back in"? You know, it doesn't sound like very normal. You mean they moved out and what? They missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and then.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
No good. No good. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. But you have to go home now. 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 People in law and order.
You know, the truth of the matter is that when you look at some of my policies, in a lot of ways, Richard Nixon was more liberal than I was.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Then I have an article, too, where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that. So stupid. Thank you.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Oh shit, it is on! Hello everyone! Welcome! This is Above It All, episode 1085. We're really getting up there in the thousands, huh? Soon we'll be at 2,000. Wouldn't that be incredible? But yeah, what's up everyone? We got Felix Cornelius showing up in the chat, Dusty Scarlet, Dev J with embraces, Nicholas Nordland, Hook, Y2K Ha, Billiard Dilliard, Jenna Nix, Kibble, John, Mark Harold, Classical Anti-Fascist. God bless the Classical Anti-Fascists. I really is just an incredible organization of people. And again, it's not an idea, it's an organization. Hello Baku, hello Esports Nation, hello Mr. Billy Rubin, hello Hook. Once again, I think I already said hello to you, motherfucker. God damn, in fact, I retract the first one. Hello Drelo Stams, hello Addy Had Me Like, and hello Jang Bones, hello Mark A. Hastings, there you go. Not Sybil, / Kib Bull, Quibble? I'm so confused. Oh, anyway, how's it going, everyone? Hopefully everyone's having a good day today. Woo! Hello, Lucas. I got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Obviously, you got impeachment. That's cool. Of course, I streamed the entirety of the impeachment debates and hearings yesterday, both when they debated voting on impeachment and then when they debated impeachment. So it was basically just debating impeachment the whole time. So if you're interested in that coverage, you can go check it out. If you're not interested in that coverage and you're a normal person and you just want the cliff notes, then tune into today's stream because I got some cliff notes. I've also got, notes of all kinds, as you can tell. Right? This may look like blank sheets of paper, but it's actually got words of wisdom on it. It's got incredible words of wisdom. The wise ones are with us on this specific day. As you can tell, there are words of wisdom on this piece of paper. This is totally serious, and we're gonna get into this. So, let's get into the news, everyone. Anyway, so I've got some shit I'm gonna talk about. Let's talk about impeachment first, because that's like everyone's talking about it. Many people are saying, tremendous people, no less, are saying that this impeachment thing is like, it's just weird. First, the first impeachment was a hoax, of course, famously. The first impeachment was a hoax, as Donald Trump says. And the second impeachment, I don't know if it's a hoax, because Donald Trump hasn't told us yet. Though there is a video that he put out, but we'll get into that later. All right, so the House impeaches Trump for incitement of insurrection, setting up a Senate trial. So here's the final vote. I stopped the stream because I knew that the proxy voting would take like 3 hours, so I'm not going to watch them proxy vote for 3 hours. Yesterday I was really exhausted. The day before I did not sleep that well, because I stayed up late. I forget why. What was I doing? I don't know. I was doing something the day before yesterday that caused me to stay up late and did not sleep well, and therefore I went to bed early last night. But again, 10 Republicans broke ranks, 0 Democrats broke ranks. I think that's important. They keep talking about unity, right? The Republicans are unity, oh, unity, right? Meanwhile, the Democrats are unified, the Republicans not so much, right? So it's very interesting. And so obviously I'm reading from the failing New York Times here. But let's read from the failing New York Times nonetheless. So, the House on Wednesday impeached President Trump for inciting a violent insurrection against the United States government, as 10 members of the president's party joined Democrats to charge him with high crimes and misdemeanors for an unprecedented second time. Reconvening under the threat of continued violence and the protection of thousands of National Guard troops, the House was determined to hold Mr. Trump to account just 1 week before he was to leave office. At issue was his role in encouraging a mob that attacked the Capitol 1 week ago, while Congress met to affirm President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden II's victory, forcing lawmakers to flee for their lives in a deadly rampage. The House adopted a single article of impeachment, voting 232 to 197 to charge Mr. Trump with inciting violence against the government of the United States, and requesting his immediate removal from office and disqualification from ever holding one again. Again, they should have just done, and they should continue to press 14th Amendment Section 3. 10 Republicans joined Democrats in voting to impeach Representatives Liz Cheney, the party's number 3 leader in the House, Jamie Herrera Beutler of Washington, John Katko, Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, Fred Upton of Michigan, Dan Newhouse of Washington, Peter Meijer of Michigan, Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, David Valadao of California, and Tom Rice of South Carolina. All right, so the defections were a remarkable break from the head of the party by Republicans who voted unanimously against impeaching Mr. Trump just over a year ago. And you can read this whole article if you want, but I don't want, but this part here. This time, Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the Republican leader, was said to support the effort as a means of purging his party of Mr. Trump, setting up a political and constitutional showdown that could shape the course of American politics when the nation remains dangerously divided. So, of course, Mitch McConnell's going to want to purge Donald Trump from the party because Mitch McConnell would be the leader of the party if Donald Trump goes away. Donald Trump right now, I think, is still in a position, I think he's still got 70% approval in the Republican Party, down from 96, right? So, but still 70% approval, right? That's well over a majority. That's an extreme super majority, right? So Mitch McConnell is a little jealous, and it appears that he definitely wants to take control of the party back because he knows how dangerous this is for the Republican Party going forward. And it really does depend on how Democrats govern over the next 2 years, I think, on whether or not the Republican Party will ever control a chamber of government ever again, I think, in the federal government. Because theoretically, if the Democrats do deliver these $2,000 stimulus checks, if they do deliver more aid and relief, if they do deliver climate change legislation, if they do deliver these things, which is theoretically possible, that would cement that the Democrats are not fucking around. Meanwhile, the Republicans will be voting against all of these measures all the time. I do think it's very possible. Meanwhile, Trump and Mitch McConnell fight for leadership of the Republican Party. This could set up a situation where the Republicans never hold a chamber of Congress or a chamber in the federal government ever again. Outside, of course, the Supreme Court, which, we've got to reform at some point. Or abolish, but hey, that's just me. I think personally we should abolish the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court should be, instead of having a Supreme Court with specific Supreme Justices, it should be rotating courts, I think. The judges and justices should be randomly selected. Maybe you can throw in the, bipartisan kind of bullshit. If it may be, right? Maybe. If we get to that point, maybe I'll listen to that conversation. But I do think a rotating bench would be probably the best scenario, using the district courts for rotating benches. Abolish the Senate while we're at it. But I think abolishing the Supreme Court is a more realistic goal than abolishing the Senate at this current moment. And again, they're both very unrealistic. But I think one is slightly more realistic than the other. So again, that's basically what's going on with impeachment. The House voted to impeach the motherfucker second time. Pretty cool. And Donald Trump is a loser. He's a loser. He's an impeached president. And, he's not sending our best. His best, even. And in the words...
not good. Believe me, not good.
That's what he was saying yesterday afternoon. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Bodan. Hello, Lori. Hello, Jang Bones. Hello, Yodel. Dusty Scarlet. Storm the Capitol for a con man? I would never. See, that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Dusty. Hello, Mark Bay. Your intro montage is excellent. Put it on Bandcamp. It will finance your podcast. Am I like, the thing is, this song, right? This song is not my song. This song is from a video game called Gubble, which I actually happen to have right here. A video game called Gubble on the PlayStation. So it's not my song, first and foremost. And again, the clips that I use in the montage, right, such as...
So stupid. Thank you.
And?
No good, really bad for you.
And
no good.
Don't forget about...
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
And of course, you can possibly forget the legendary.
In my opinion, it's never too late. So, little double sound deck.
So anyway, those are all, like, literally I own the copyright to nothing on that, so I don't know if I could put it on Bandcamp. Unless, like, Bandcamp has a policy where you can just steal other people's content and then make money off of it. So, but I do have, the Biden sound pulls, of course.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I do put some of the intros as separate videos sometimes when people think they're particularly good. If someone really wants me to, I could make like a fucking 10-hour compilation of all the intros and outros. That could be fun, I don't know. It's up to y'all. But I don't think I can directly profit off of that on something like Bandcamp. That's just me. But anyway, yeah. All right. So let me open this up. He will pardon no one because he is the only one whom that matters delusional. They are cannon fodder. Are you talking about Trump? We'll see. I don't know. He did pardon some war criminals, but what are you gonna do? Hot off the press, this just in, Trump cult throws his cult under the bus to save his orange ass. Are you talking about this video that I'm about to play, or is there a new video? Because you said hot off the press. Is that like, are you saying that there's something new? Or is that what you're referring to? Because I'm going to get into that in just a second.
Dumb people, liberal people.
I love the feeling of cold brew coffee sliding down my throat. I mean, I love the feeling of lots of things sliding down my throat. But cold brew coffee, one of the best. 10-hour intro compilation, yes please. Well, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Hello, hello, Robert Wilson. Hello, Torin. Hello, I'm so right. Did you know we are supposed to have... Yes, I do know. There is a project called Uncap the House. They have a Twitter page. You can follow them. It's probably not, gonna get anywhere for a long time, but, if you want to know more about that, you can follow their Twitter account. I think it's a pretty decent Twitter account, basically. They just tweet about exactly what you just said. They tweet about that all day. Top Damage Wizard, fucking gubble. Hey, fuck you. I've got the world record in gubble. I basically own it. I've got the world record. So. But yeah. All right, let's get into the President of the United States. So the President of the United States, trying to once again evade his Twitter ban, decided to post some cringe on the White House account that has currently not been taken down. And so this is a 5-minute video. I'm going to try to get through it. Like the whole way. Basically, this video, he throws all of his supporters under the bus for the 15th time. And, it's just impressive. Let's watch.
My fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week. As I have said, the incursion of the U.S. Capitol struck at the very heart of our republic. It angered and appalled millions of Americans across the political spectrum. I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week.
So, again, Donald Trump spent 3 months promoting the big lie that the election was stolen. That culminated in him telling everyone for those 3 months, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. He tweeted about it dozens, if not over 100 times. January 6th, January 6th. He also promoted the big lie that Mike Pence could single-handedly overturn the election results if he so chose. By the way, coincidentally, Nico House agrees with that. Interesting. So I just want you to understand, he incited this riot not only in his words in the speech on the morning of, but over the last 3 months of telling people that something that's not possible is possible, and that there's a time and place you need to be in order to make that impossibility possible. So the people that stormed the Capitol, they all said, Trump told me to. So I want to make it very clear, you can't incite a riot that ends up with killing 6 people and get away with that scot-free, but he's going to try.
Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country and no place in our movement. Making America great again has always been about defending the rule of law.
I want to also say this. To my understanding, there have been reports that a lot of the MAGA people are standing down, unlike he requested they do at the first presidential debate. It seems that they're standing down and they're starting to think that that if the president doesn't have their back, and I'll go into this later maybe, but I've got some interesting info here. I'll go into that later though. So I think these videos that he's making are having a net positive right now. But again, of course, that doesn't undo the damage that he did.
Supporting the men and women of law enforcement and uphold.
If he wasn't involved, why did he not let the National Guard come in? $5, Karen Sheets. Thank you, by the way. That's a good question. To my understanding, and I haven't researched this as much as I should, to my understanding, the National Guard situation was the Defense Department, so they claim, was afraid of letting Donald Trump command the National Guard because they didn't know if Donald Trump would command them to break the law, and therefore they were slow on that, I think, is the argument that they're using. But I don't know if I buy it.
Holding our nation's most sacred traditions and values. Mob violence goes against everything I believe in and everything our movement stands for. No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence. No true supporter of mine could ever disrespect law enforcement or our great American flag.
Reminder, they tore down the U.S. flag at the Capitol and replaced it with a Trump 2020 flag. Reminder, the Blue Lives Matter crew killed a cop, beat him to death on camera with a fire extinguisher. Reminder, no true supporter, right? This guy is throwing all of his most fervent supporters under the motherfucking bus. And again, if he went down to 70% approval rating from 96, right? That's still a hell of a lot of support. And this kind of stuff definitely redeems him in the eyes of the 70%. The 70% that still support him in the Republican Party are like, oh, he's so mature. Look how he's condemning the violence. Right? So he's going to be a formidable force whether or not he gets banned from the presidency via the Senate. Whether or not that happens, he's going to be a formidable force. He is positioning himself right now. He wants to retain the title of kingmaker within the Republican Party. And it seems that the Republican Party is going to become the cult of Trump party. It already has over the last 4 years. But I don't see that reversing course. I do think that the civility losers in the Republican Party are going to lose out to the cult of Trump party. Again, only 10 Republicans in the House went against party lines to impeach the president. Only 10. That leaves 197 Republicans, I think, that are full-on Trump cultists. Trump can do no wrong. Trump can be single-handedly responsible for murdering police officers and will let him get away with it in the minds of the cult of Trump party.
No true supporter of mine could ever threaten or harass their fellow Americans. If you do any of these things, you are not supporting our movement. You are attacking it, and you are attacking our country. We cannot tolerate it. Tragically, over the course of the past year, made so difficult because of COVID-19, we have seen political violence spiral out of control.
Notice how he says COVID-19 for once. Right, this guy knows that he doesn't want to go to jail. Right, instead of calling it the plague from China, he's calling it COVID-19. Interesting, right?
So difficult because of COVID-19. We have seen political violence spiral out of control. We have seen too many riots, too many mobs, too many acts of intimidation and destruction. It must stop. Whether you are on the right or on the left, a Democrat or a Republican, there is never a justification.
I just want to say, like, I know he's lying. You know he's lying, right? But this is still bizarre to watch, right? Like, after the last 4 years, like, watching Trump, his back against the wall, defeated, I forget who said this. I think it was Mondaire Jones at the impeachment debate. As Mondaire Jones said, a defeated and disgraced president. And again, his back is against the wall, and he's capitulating like a beta male, throwing all of his most fervent supporters under the bus, just so he doesn't go to jail. This is like, it's, and you have to understand, he's doing this because he wants to, like, his ideology is not changing. He's going to try, again, to rehabilitate himself. There are going to be people that let him. He's trying to rehabilitate himself because he wants to do the same thing that he did on January 6th, but without getting the blame. That's his next step, and you have to understand that, right? This guy's 78 years old or whatever the fuck he is, right? He's not changing his opinion anytime soon. Certainly not overnight. Certainly not overnight and when pressed with a lawsuit, right? But it is very satisfying to look at this guy try to weasel himself out of it. Like, again, his back is against the wall. He's got nothing else. So he has to capitulate.
For violence. No excuses, no exceptions. America is a nation of laws. Those who engaged in the attacks last week will be brought to justice. Now I am asking everyone who has ever believed in our agenda to be thinking of ways to ease tensions, calm tempers, and help to promote peace in our country. There has been reporting that additional demonstrations are being planned in the coming days, both here in Washington and across the country. I have been briefed by the U.S. Secret Service on the potential threats. Every American deserves to have their voice heard in a respectful and peaceful way. That is your First Amendment right. But I cannot emphasize that there must be no violence, no law breaking, and no vandalism of any kind.
So again, it's important. He's calling out again, Trumpers have been planning over the last week to attack all 50 state capitals. That's what they've been planning. And now again, I'm going to get into this next, but there's also been reporting on these social media networks that they use that they're backing down and they're afraid because they think it's a setup. Which, hey, if Trump is willing to sell everyone out to save his own ass, hey, maybe it is a setup.
Everyone must follow our laws and obey the instructions of law enforcement. I have directed federal agencies to use all necessary resources to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., we are bringing in thousands of National Guard members to secure the city and ensure that a transition can occur safely and without incident. Like all of you, I was shocked and deeply saddened by the calamity. At the Capitol.
Reminder, he was literally on video, excited and gleeful in praising their actions, but now it's calamity.
Saddened by the calamity at the Capitol last week.
Calamity.
I want to thank the hundreds of millions of incredible...
That sounds like a fucking rap album.
...American citizens who have responded to this moment with calm, moderation, and grace.
Grace.
We will get through this challenge just like we always do. I also want to say a few words about the unprecedented assault on free speech we have seen in recent days.
Here we go.
These are tense and difficult times. The efforts to censor, cancel, and blacklist our fellow citizens are...
You know what? Given the recent events, I kind of agree. I'm just kidding.
...wrong, and they are dangerous. What is needed now is for us to listen to one another, not to silence one another. All of us can choose by our actions to rise above the rancor and find common ground and shared purpose.
I mean, I agree.
We must focus on advancing the interests of the whole nation, delivering the miracle vaccines, defeating the pandemic, rebuilding the economy, protecting our national security, and upholding the rule of law. Today I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people. Let us choose to move forward united for the good of our families, our communities, and our country. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Well, there you go. Donald Trump beta bitch edition. As Don says, from what I read, this strategy it was basically written for him. The statement was written for him and was a condition to keep the number of House Republicans from voting for impeachment down. Yes, absolutely. Again, he's trying to absolve himself, and everyone's going to see, we're going to see if it works. I don't think it will, though. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who says she's going to file impeachment filings on day one of Biden's presidency. That's interesting, right? So this is going to be very, very, very interesting to follow. Fun Police, $4.99. Good morning, Andrea, Maxie, and the crew. Thank you. Good, and then also morning. Appreciate you. And thank you for the money. I don't know why you keep giving me money. This is, this has to stop. There's just the sheer nature of funding this operation just is unbelievable to me. But thank you nonetheless. Low Energy Donnie is a bummer. It's a bummer, but it's fun to watch. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's really fun to watch. Like, the guy's just a cuck. The last 4 years culminating in January 6th. And as soon as push comes to shove, he cucks out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But in the words of our president...
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Top Damage Wizard, she should file them every day, and with a Dem majority, they can go right into the round file. I don't know what the round file is referring to. But sounds good to me. I honestly think it's hilarious. Nico and people like him are just pissed off that the GOP will be weaker and Dems will have more power. They hate the Dems more than the GOP. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. I mean, again, Nico House literally created films with open and avowed neo-Nazis 6 months ago. Right? Like, that's a little weird. Nico House also said that he's not against fascism. He said he's a classical Antifa, whatever that means. He also said that Mike Pence could single-handedly overturn the election. He also said that the election may have been stolen. The guy's a total fucking clown. And all the people around him, total fucking clowns. No ifs, no ands, or buts. Alright. Okay, so I've got an article here about Colorado. Let's read. So, armed patriots are planning to attend 2 rallies at Colorado Capitol. So, Fox 31 is hearing from a Colorado group planning to attend rallies at the state capitol on January 19th and on Inauguration Day. The group's members say that the plan to carry their guns with them on the day President-elect Joe Biden becomes president. At the state capitol, fences have been put up for some time, and nearby businesses are boarded up. The security preparations are underway for the nationwide call to armed marches on state capitals. The Twin Outlaw Brotherhood from Colorado Springs is among the groups planning to attend. "We do not want any conflict. We just want to be there to voice our opinion," said one Twin Outlaw Brotherhood member, Justin Brooks. "I don't believe carrying the firearm down there to show power is going to do any good. The only reason we would carry is for self-defense," said Dustin Brooks. Another member, we have Dustin and Justin, interesting, of the Twin Outlaw Brotherhood. Dustin and Justin Brooks call themselves patriots. They plan to be armed when they attend rallies in Denver on January 19th and Inauguration Day, January 20th. This is unbelievable. This sounds like a book. "I do agree about we coerce some people, but you gotta understand that what Donald Trump has tried to pass has never even went through. The Senate and the House shut him down all the time," said Dustin and Justin. I can't do Dustin and Justin, dude. I literally could not. "They do believe a president, not just Trump, but any president, should have more power." What? Presidential power is outlined in the Constitution. This article is written very poorly. The Brooks brothers say they are not trying to overthrow the government, but they believe the presidential election was a fraud. God bless the Brooks brothers, right? So far, there has been no evidence to prove that claim. The Colorado State Patrol says it's monitoring for possible events in Colorado. Denver police are asking people to peacefully assemble if they gather. Neither would give specifics regarding security strategies. As more protests are planned across the country, the FBI urges residents to stay vigilant. If you are at a gathering and notice something suspicious, or if you see something online, report it immediately. So, they're still planning to do these attacks on the Capitol, but there are a lot of reports of the president's fanboys just realizing that, yeah, if the president's going to go on TV every single day and say that these attacks are happening, they have a lot less of the ability to sneak in. And so a lot of them are bailing, and that's good. Obviously, that's good. But at the same time, it's bad because these people are not being, disarmed. They're not saying, oh, the president is up there saying that they condemn violence, so therefore I'm going to change my entire political ideology. Not at all. Not at all. They are just going to sit back and plan for another action, and that's the danger that you have to understand. These people are not disappearing. They're not going away. They're not, disarming themselves. They're going to plan and they're going to strategize. And so that needs to be understood, and we need to plan for that, because this is, in my estimation, this is going to get really, really bad really, really soon. And I just hope it doesn't get too bad, but we'll see. Are these people double dragon bosses? Yes, they are. With a K, Fun Police? Literally, Lucas, I literally called them out on that instantly. It was really funny. I watched the whole thing, Jonathan. I saw it happen live. It was ridiculous. The fucking Brooks Brothers. I literally can't with that shit, dude. It's too funny. It's on the nose, but it's still too funny. Hey, Gonzo. Where is Max? Max the dog! Max! Look at him. Max! Max the dog! He's not having it? He's not having it. He's not having it. No, he's not getting up. He's not getting up. There's no way. This fucking dog. Hello? He's got my sock between his paws. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 37 likes and 75 viewers. Again, thank you everyone for joining me. Again, it's a profound honor that I have so many people that are willing to watch me and all that stuff. I really do. I've been getting a lot of viewers over the last, week or so. And, certainly a lot of super chats, right? It's a lot to handle. And again, I appreciate it. Extraordinarily appreciate it. How's my day? Pretty good. All right, so speaking of dullards, I have multiple dullards I could be talking about. Speaking of dullards, Marjorie Taylor Greene. On January 21st, I'm filing articles of impeachment on President-elect Joe Biden. 75 million Americans are fed up with inaction. It's time to take a stand. I'm proud to be the voice of Republican voters who have been ignored. Here we go.
Congresswoman, I understand, though, you have something pressing, something important, and something new you'd like to share with everybody.
Yes, I would like to announce on behalf of the American people, we have to make sure that our leaders are held accountable. We cannot have a president of the United States that is willing to abuse the power of the office of the presidency and be easily bought off by foreign governments.
The guy's not even president yet. Like, if you wanted to say he did this when he was vice president, then say that. But, the guy's not even president yet.
Foreign Chinese energy companies, Ukrainian energy companies.
By the way, remember when Donald Trump got revealed to pay more taxes to the China? Donald Trump paid more taxes to the Chinese government than he did to the United States government. Isn't that interesting?
So on January 21st, I will be filing articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
Wow. Articles of impeachment on Joe Biden on his first full day as president. I'm looking at Hunter Biden right now, so we're talking about Joe. Obviously, we know Hunter's got issues as well. How is that going to work? You are a freshman.
Whoever this is on Newsmax, by the way. Whoever this is, right, is just he is blown away. This guy is probably a paid actor, right? But she is not. She's a true believer. Absolutely. But he is blown away by this shit. So he's just okay. Tell me more. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to handle this. So go on. Tell me more, Marjorie.
How is that going to work? You are a freshman. You're in the minority. What will happen next? Is this symbolic, or can you really do something about this?
Well, like I said, I'm a big believer in having people in office that are actually willing to do the job. And I can't imagine people in this country being so fearful of a future of a Biden presidency that they may be willing to commit violence like they did in the Capitol here in Washington, D.C. We cannot have that. I do not condone that violence. The American people need hope. They need to know that there are Republicans in Congress that are willing to stand up and fight for them, regardless of being in a minority, regardless of having all odds against us, against me, or against anyone in Congress. We have to hold people accountable. Joe Biden is on record on the phone saying that he would withhold $1 billion of foreign aid if he didn't get his way with these deals with his son Hunter. And there's an ongoing investigation with Hunter Biden's laptop into being bought and paid for by Chinese, communist Chinese energy companies. This is a dangerous threat to our country when we have a man that will be holding the power of the presidency, but will so easily and is on record for abusing power.
So stupid. Thank you.
Yo, I like Hunter's got issues, therefore I'm going to impeach the president? What? Right? Like, what? Like, I literally, I just what?
Did you use the word smart?
I can't. In fact, you know what? I won't. There's no commentary here. I really just, there's nothing. My God. Woo! What a dumb motherfucker. Fuck. It's, in the words of our president, it's so stupid. So stupid.
So stupid. Thank you.
My God. I really like these people. Anyway, I've got one more thing I want to touch upon today. Well, not one more thing. I've got a couple more things, but one more thing in the sphere of political drama. So it came across my attention. My attention was gotten. It was consumed. When you're browsing the internet and then you come across you're scrolling, you're doom scrolling, right? We all been there. We all doom scroll on Twitter. And then something catches your eye and you say, wait a second. You stop the doom scroll and you're like, this looks like some dumb bitch bullshit. Right? And so that's what my experience was this morning with this clip. So I've been very heavily critical of the Force the Vote crew. I've been very heavily critical of all the people and journalism or journalistic outlets that have been supporting and endorsing the move, especially after it didn't happen. It didn't happen. They're still talking about it. So this is Max Blumenthal. To my understanding, this guy is either the founder or main funder or just the main person involved with the Gray Zone. And he is as explicit as you need to be to prove that everything I've been saying over the last month and a couple days now, everything that I've been saying about these people is correct. This guy is going to prove in less than a minute that everything that I've been saying is spot on and accurate. Let's watch.
Pundits acting as her lager, to use an Afrikaner South African term, circling the wagons around her to defend her. And
again, starting this clip off by saying, anyone that disagrees with my political tactical strategy, therefore automatically is defending politicians. Oh, why are you defending politicians by disagreeing with my tactical strategy? A minor disagreement means you must be defending politicians. Oh!
Just deploying the same access journalism that is part of the culture of the Beltway that we hate, that the DSA is supposed to hate, and they've all been dragged into the system on AOC's coattails. And that's why it's so important what Jimmy did. He succeeded. Force the Vote succeeded in exposing.
Here we go. Again, this was the plan the whole time. I told you this a month ago. I told you this, right? When like a month ago, when I only had 30 people watching my stream, I told you this, right? That the whole force the vote strategy, they knew it would never happen. They created a bizarre, super specific tactical procedure that they knew would not happen, so that when it didn't happen, they could utilize that as a way of, again, I've mentioned this, the great unmasking of the fraud squad. Now?
Important what Jimmy did. He succeeded. Force the Vote succeeded in exposing the squad. It succeeded. Anyone who says it failed doesn't know how this works. And it succeeded because it's moving people towards organizations outside the Democratic Party, which will never produce material change. I'm 43. I just turned 40.
So again, Jimmy Dore went on his show saying nurses unions are weak. Jimmy Dore went on his show saying DSA is weak. These are organizations that aren't tied to the Democratic Party. To claim that DSA is tied to the Democratic Party because they will coalesce with people like AOC on specific issues is bizarre and stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. And to say that your outside organization, the People's Party, is more equipped to help working people than DSA or NNU is ridiculous. It's unscientific, it's illogical, and I'm sorry, it's just a little silly.
Material change. I'm 43. I just turned 43. It's never produced material change in my lifetime. I'm not going to live forever, so I'm eventually going to go in a different direction, and so should you. Pundits acting.
So again, this clip was taken out of context. If someone wants to send me the full video, and Max says afterward, not to be confused with Max the dog, of course, but if Max Blumenthal says afterward that, yeah, I'm a dumb bitch, everything I said was stupid, I'm open to that. Right? I'm not here to cancel anyone. I don't like this cancel culture bullshit is ridiculous. And that's why I've been attacking, attacking is not the right word, but that's why I've been highlighting what these people are doing with the squad, right? Is they're trying to cancel them. Again, the great unmasking, a term that Richard Medhurst used, right? They are trying to cancel the only allies in Congress to the progressive movement, to the working people in this country. They are trying to excommunicate working people from all political allies. That is cancel culture. Objectively speaking, that is cancel culture in its purest and most cringy form, right? And so again, it's possible that everyone else pushed back on this afterwards, and if someone wants to send me the full video, I'm welcome to see that. But again, I told you this a month ago, that the strategy was to create, I'm a YouTuber, right? I know this space. Again, if I've got 100 subscribers, right? And those 100 subscribers are subscribed to 100 people, right? I'm going to get less watch time than if I had 80 subscribers, but those 80 subscribers were only subscribed to 30 people, right? So this is what this whole strategy is to create a wedge in online left media, to create a breaking divisive point where you're either with Jimmy Dore in the gray zone and Nico House, or you're with AOC in the squad. You can't agree with both sides when they're correct on certain issues. No. They're trying to make it so that you have to choose. And I'm sorry, that's a false dichotomy, right? A politician is a politician. They're not my friend. AOC is not my friend. We don't get together and fucking make smoothies, right? We don't fucking have dinner parties. She's not my friend. She is a politician. And if she does something I agree with, I will highlight that. Same, whereas Nancy Pelosi, if she does something I agree with, I will highlight that. However, these politicians, if they do something I disagree with, I will also highlight that. I have highlighted AOC in disagreeing with her many times. I have highlighted Nancy Pelosi in my disagreements with her many times. This isn't an all or nothing situation, right? Having a minor tactical disagreement with a podcaster is not defending AOC. It's saying I have a small disagreement with a podcaster. To make this weirdo claim that if you have any disagreements with a podcaster that automatically you're defending all politicians, it is purposefully setting up a false dichotomy to try to create an echo chamber and a bubble. These people do not want differing opinions in their network. Like, again, if they lose 5,000 subscribers, right? But the ones that remain unsubscribe from everyone else except for those in their network, that's a net gain, right? If someone has, say, $100 in their YouTube Super Chat account, right, and they're subscribed to 30 people, and they give that Super Chat money to those 30 people are going to get a lot more money than if that person with $100 is subscribed to 100 people, and they equally distribute that Super Chat money among 100 people. That's what this strategy is. It's a way to make money, and it's a way to destroy progressive left media. That's what this is. There is nothing smaller. There's nothing more nuanced about that. And again, this is not a cancel culture bullshit. I am not saying that the gray zone is canceled. I'm not saying that Jimmy Dore is canceled, right? The whole point of criticizing people is because I want them to change what they do. When I criticize people like Jimmy Dore, Max Blumenthal, right, Nico House, it's because I want them to stop defending bad people. It's because I want them to stop trying to divide left media, right? Criticizing people is not canceling people. Canceling people is telling you that, oh, if this person doesn't do 100% of what you ask, then you shouldn't like them in any capacity. That's cancel culture, right? It is not cancel culture to say, hey, these people are trying to lie to you for personal gain and they should stop that. That's not cancel culture. If Max Blumenthal comes out in a month from now and says, I'm sorry for that, I accept that, right? Now, obviously, you need to look and see if this person's truly sorry, and that's a long process, right? But if someone wants to move out of these bizarre spaces and get back into regular spaces, that should be, not only should that be accepted and encouraged, it should be celebrated. When people change their minds, right, because they used to think dumb things, right, and now they change their mind and they don't think dumb things anymore, that's a good thing, right? And of course it means you can be skeptical of them, but being skeptical does not mean you should hate them for the rest of your life. And so I want to be very clear on that. I'm not canceling the gray zone. I'm not canceling Ben Norton or Aaron Mate or Max Blumenthal. I'm not. I'm just criticizing what they're saying in this moment. And if they choose to continue saying it, I will choose to continue criticizing them. But if they choose to stop saying those things, then I will stop criticizing them. Because unlike Jimmy Dore, my whole career is not based on canceling people I disagree with small time. My career is about giving people news. My career is about, trying to help people understand what's going on in the world, right? Right? So it's like, that's what this is. And obviously, of course, the superior Max is Max the dog. There you go. But yeah, I just wanted to be very upfront about that because I think this is a very problematic thing going on. There's a lot of drama on left media, and I think it's all manufactured. I think they're all doing it on purpose. And I'm going to speak about that. This dog will not stop licking me. Are you seeing this? This dog will not stop licking me. How long is this going to... There you go. I'm going to wipe your slobber on you. That's right. Now you're a wet dog. You're a wet dog. Look at this fucking dog. Look at my hand. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so, again, the show's not over yet. I've got one more thing I want to talk about here that's not much of a political thing, but, please cancel Convo Couch. Oh, you bet I will. I'm going to cancel the hell out of them. Amazing Atheist take on Jimmy Dore is really funny. Send me a link. The lick is dog language for take me a walk and give me a milk bone. I just took him for a walk. Like, literally, right before this show started. I was late to the show by, 1 minute because of this dang dog. Right? So he knows. You know, don't you? He knows. He knows. He's aware. Look at this fucking dog. I literally can't. Trump canceled by himself. I know, he canceled his own dumbass. Alright, so... on this program, I don't specifically only talk about politics. On this program, I would like to, I try to present myself as someone overall concerned with humanity. One of my biggest issues besides talking about, politicians is food and nutrition. I think everyone should be trying to the best of their ability to eat as healthily as possible. Because food is nothing but fuel for your body. If you're putting plastic in your body, why? Why are you putting plastic in your body? What? Why are you putting poison in your body? What? Right? But on the other end, there's also history. History is extremely important. Whether it be the political history of the United States or primitive accumulation over the course of, the 15 or so centuries that preceded it. History is a very important thing. This is not nutrition, but I found this really interesting article from National Geographic that I wanted to highlight. I love this image here. It's very good. So, incredible details of a 10,000-year-old trek revealed in fossil footprints. I loved this article reading it this morning, and I wanted to read it on my show. So it's a 5-minute read. We'll see about that. But again, history is really important. And whether or not this is useful, I think it's important to just read this stuff, to be generally aware of where we've come as a species. I think is super cool. Let's read. I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing. You can read the whole thing if you so choose, but we'll get into it. More than 10,000 years ago, a woman or a young man, a toddler balanced on one hip, set out on a harried trip northward through what is now White Sands National Park, New Mexico. Rain may have pelted the traveler's face as their bare feet slid on the mud. Speaking of bare feet sliding on the mud, this fucking dog, literally, there's some mud, right? In the lawn, right? In front, by the street or whatever. And this fucking dog decides, I'm going to jump into the mud and slide into the mud. This fucking dog. See, now they're upset at me for exposing them. You see that dog? Anyway. They paused to briefly set the toddler on the ground before pressing on. This is my favorite part. A woolly mammoth and giant sloth ambled across their freshly laid tracks. Several hours later, the traveler followed the same route south, this time empty-handed. Now, a team of scientists have documented nearly a mile of fossilized footprints from the Out and Back venture, the longest human trackway of its age ever found. I've never seen anything quite like it, says Chatham University's Kevin Hatala, an evolutionary biologist who is not part of the studies team. The trackway consists of more than 400 human prints, including several tiny child prints, as described in a new study published in Quaternary Science Reviews. By analyzing the shape, structure, and spread of the tracks, the research team unveiled an intimate portrait of one ancient person's walk across the landscape, right down to their toes slipping on the slick surface. Now, again, this stuff is super interesting. If this is boring to you, I mean, Jesus Christ, right? This is super cool. The team also uncovered traces of a mammoth and giant sloth. Again, mammoths are dead. They're all gone. We killed them all because we're dumb motherfuckers. But 10,000 years ago, mammoths were just roaming. They were roaming and they were ruining all across the fucking North American plains. And giant sloth crossing the region after humans passed. The mammoth seemed unconcerned about possible humans nearby. Little did they know what the next 5,000 years would have for them, right? The mammoth is just walking around. Humans? What? Who cares? Right? Oops. Right? Oops. They should have been a little bit more vigilant, right? The prints suggest it reared back on nearby, but the giant sloth likely took notice. The prints suggest it reared back on two legs, possibly to sniff for the human presence, similar to how bears behave today. It gives us a sense of humans within their ancient ecosystem, says study author Sally Reynolds, a paleontologist of Bournemouth University. She points out that the sloth's apparent awareness of humans nearby, that's an idea you wouldn't get from a bone. Again, this is all really, really cool stuff. Now, of course, humans are destroying the entire world. Every animal on Earth probably knows about the humans and how dangerous they are to everyone else. Right? But back then, the mammoth, a couple thousand years before going extinct because humans killed them all, was just, humans, whatever. I think that's super interesting. Fossil footprints are a boon for scientists, preserving stunning snapshots of ancient behaviors that cannot be gleaned from other remains. Fossils obviously are the backbone of understanding past life, says paleoanthropologist William Harcourt Smith of the City University of New York, who is not part of the study team, but footprint sites are special because they're this moment in time, he says. The newfound tracks, in part of an ongoing effort to document the trove of ancient prints at White Sands National Park, an endeavor driven by the careful observations of David Bustos, the park's resource program manager. These shallow impressions are tough to spot, only revealed by slight changes in moisture, which cause faint shifts in color. Oh my god, I got like a dust particle in my throat. He kept noticing these ghost tracks, these footprints that were coming to light, Reynolds said of Bustos' observations. In 2016, Bustos asked a range of specialists about the tracks, including the first author of the new study, Matthew Bennett, a geologist at Bournemouth University in England. Bennett and his colleagues have since made multiple trips to White Sands, documenting the array of prints, both human and animal, in each section of the park. The prints on this new study are pressed into fine sand, and a thin crust of salt is all that holds their shape together, Reynolds said. The team carefully excavated 140 of the tracks, using a brush to reveal the delicate structures. Yet, such fragile forms quickly break down when uncovered, so the team recorded each print with a series of photographs to construct a three-dimensional model, a technique known as 3D photogrammetry. Love that stuff. The minute we expose them, the race is really on to record them before they just disappear. Now imagine all of archaeology before we had photographs, right? Like again, imagine when they first discovered Pompeii, right? And then they fucked shit up, and then they like tore down a bunch of statues in the ancient city, and they desecrated a lot of things because they thought that they were doing what was righteous, right? Photographs are time capsules. I love photography being like a just in a way time travel. That's what they are. It's time travel. In many ways. Tiny prints. By studying the shape, size, and distribution of the footprints, the researchers attempted to piece together what happened during the ancient walk across the muddy ground. The primary track maker could have been either a woman 12 years or older, or possibly a young man, based on a comparison of the footprints' lengths to modern humans. And at least 3 points along the way, tiny footprints joined the main trackway, evidence of a child less than 3 years old. The spacing of the tracks suggests that the person was traveling around 3.8 miles per hour. While not a jog, this would have been a hasty pace considering the muddy conditions and heavy load, Hatala notes. In a few spots, the traveler's strides were unusually long, as if they were stepping or leaping over an obstacle. It could be puddles, Reynolds said. It could be wet mammoth poo. Ugh, gross, right? The child, however, was carried only one way during the northbound trip. The tracks of the left foot are slightly larger, which may be the result of carrying the toddler on one hip among the northbound tracks. There are also instances of trekkers' toes sliding into the muddy surface, and the foot dragging to create a banana-shaped print. Yet in the southbound return, the size difference in tracks is not apparent, and yet the slippage is much less frequent, suggesting the walker was unencumbered. Researchers had previously suggested the differences in right and left footprints could be evidence of carrying a load, but it was often speculation. The new study offers more evidence. In this particular case, you see the footprints of a child suddenly appear partway through, Hatala says. The animal tracks helped the team estimate when the adventurer trekked across the land. After the northbound trip, the mammoth and giant sloth stepped around the fresh trackway, Well, the human southbound prints cut into those of the animals. This overlay shows that all the prints were set down within a few hours before the mud completely dried. The presence of now extinct creatures alongside humans suggest that the ancient adventure took place at least 10,000 years ago. And you can read this last bit. This is just, some personal stuff with the authors, which is good. But, if you want to read that afterward, that's fine. But yeah, again, I love this shit. I think history is extremely important. One of the things I'm the most interested in are ancient civilizations. I mean, there's a lot of ancient civilizations that discovered things that, again, weren't discovered for hundreds of or thousands of more years. Right? And that stuff is absolutely fascinating. And then again, seeing how ancient humans, right, interacted with creatures that are now extinct is also interesting. Again, human beings used to be alive, and they used to see great mammoths roaming the plains. Giant, woolly mammoths, right, the size of buildings and houses, roaming. And now humans in North America don't even understand the concept. Like, again, look at cave paintings, for example. Right, like cave paintings of mammoths, right? People expressing art for some of the first moments in human history, and they decided mammoths were so important to their lives. Right, when they go outside and they see the mammoths all the time, they were so important to them that they decided some of the first artworks of the human race would be to document their existence in relation to humans, and now they're gone. Right? Because humans, at another point in history, decided to kill them all. Right? And, again, humans killing animals, humans killing fellow humans, based on arbitrary characteristics is something as old as humanity itself, as old as life itself in a lot of ways. And again, I think this stuff is super interesting. So whenever I see these scientific studies pop up, I like to highlight them on the show. It's important to have the humanities aspect of culture and stuff like that. And so go read this stuff. I think it's cool. And if you see anything of this nature that you find interesting that you want me to read about, feel free to send them to me. But hello, Max. Here's another fun fact. The only reason why humans are omnivores, well, maybe not the only reason, but the chief, obviously, I don't have a time machine that can let me watch the development over thousands, right? But one of the chief reasons why human beings are omnivores is because early human beings in the plains of Africa were scavengers. They would eat the remains of corpses of other animals that were killed by creatures such as the saber-toothed tiger, right? Would go around killing animals, eat all the good bits, and then leave the rest to stink in the sun. And then humans would watch and follow these saber-tooth animals and eat the remains. And a lot of them would die from poison, from their body being unable to process it. But some of them didn't, right? Raw meat has a lot of calories. Now, again, it carries a lot of disease, right? And so that created a hyper natural selection in a way. Whereas the people that couldn't handle the raw meat digestion process would die, would not procreate. The people that could, maybe even just barely, would continue to procreate and teach that behavior to children, right? So that is one of the chief reasons why humans are omnivores. Really, humans were vegetarians. Hell, humans were vegans for most of their evolution. It wasn't up until they started becoming scavengers, where they started to eat a lot more meat and be exposed to more meat in their diets. Again, there's a difference between eating a little bit of meat every now and then and being able to process it, and being able to eat meat as a chief part of the diet. And again, meat is very unhealthy for you. Even modern humans, right? Even tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, right? Even then, meat is still very damaging to our bodies, which is why I'm a vegetarian. One of the chief reasons why I'm a vegetarian is because of health. Yes, I do think that climate change is a big issue, and I do think not buying meat products plays into that. Yes, I do think that there are ethical concerns about factory farming and just killing animals for the sake of eating them in general, right? But one of the chief reasons why I became a vegetarian was for health concerns. And so, again, even now, hundreds of years of evolution later, our bodies are still healthier and better off eating a vegetarian diet. I think you've got like a 40% reduced risk of heart disease if you're a vegetarian over the course of your lifetime compared to a meat eater. That's a pretty extreme percentage. And so again, I'm, just part of my vegetarian propaganda. But it is for me a chief reason to become a vegetarian or a vegan is for health reasons. I think we should be first and foremost concerned with our own health. And then also it has the added benefit of respecting the fellow animal on this planet. No one, human or otherwise, deserves to be born and raised in a cage. And then massacred. Like look at cows. They're born and raised in cages, right? They're impregnated, and then their babies are stolen from them, right? In the process of their babies being stolen from them, they produce what we drink as milk that creates cheese and other such dairy products, which I still eat cheese now and then. But, I'm not perfect. And then, after they stop producing milk, they kill them, right? I don't know. To me, I feel like that is reprehensible. If you want to make an argument for classical farming, you raise and hug your cow and then you treat it beautifully and you're like a very nice person, and then around the time where it gets sick or old and then you kill it and use it, you know what? I'll listen to that argument, right? But when it comes to factory farming, to me, I can't endorse that in any capacity. I tried veganism for 2 years, but you got 2 weeks. When you become a vegetarian or vegan, you definitely have to watch your nutrition. And this is something, again, when I became a vegetarian, I did so while learning a lot about nutrition in general. For example, I got B12 supplements somewhere. Maybe they're on the floor. I take a B12 supplement every, maybe once or twice a week. I eat some food that has trace amounts of B12, which is one of the things that is mostly found in animal proteins. But, you can supplement that stuff. We live in a society where you can and should supplement that stuff. But again, if you're going to, there are both healthy ways to be a vegetarian. Whoa. Max, I think Max just barked at himself in the mirror. Can you see that? Was that visible? Rewind real quick, and then let me know if Max barked at himself in the mirror. Was he looking at the mirror when he barked, or the door? He might want to go downstairs. I don't know. But I think Max barked at himself. But yeah, when you make any change to your diet, any change, you need to know what that change is going to have as an effect on your body. Brazil nuts are definitely one of the healthiest nuts. I don't eat them as much as I should. When it comes to nuts, I usually go with peanuts, right? But I have eaten Brazil nuts, and I still do eat Brazil nuts. But they're really hard to find in my neck of the woods. So, but yeah, I'm aware of Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts were one of my best friends when I was trying ketogenic diets for a couple months. I would snack on Brazil nuts till the cows came home. And then instead of slaughtering the cows, I would pet the cows, and then they would moo. Well, Captain Spock, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you all for watching the stream. That's all I've got on the docket for today. I appreciate you all for being here. I really, 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 really do. Yeah. So again, don't quite know what my schedule is for today. What day is it? Like Thursday? I might come by and hang out later. Holy shit, how did I do keto? Are you literally eating all day? When I did keto, I would eat maybe once or twice a day, which is on average with what I do normally. I did keto as a meat eater, and I did keto as a vegetarian. I did 2 months on keto when I was a meat eater, and I did 1 month on keto as a vegetarian. Being a meat eater, doing keto is much easier because I would just eat bacon, basically, for each meal. But as a vegetarian, it's a little bit more tricky. So eggs I can still eat. I'm not a vegan. I'm a vegetarian, so I still eat some eggs. But maybe I can do a video on that at some point on that kind of stuff. Vaush is monetizing my content. Yeah, apparently Vaush played a clip of my debate with Nico. If someone wants to send me that, I would love to see what he has to say. Not because he's Vaush, but I just love to see what anyone has to say about me. I'm kind of a narcissist when it comes to that. I love when people talk about me, whether it's good or bad, you know, in my estimation. Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you all for watching. I really, again, words that exist in the human language, in any human language, I should say, do not exist properly for me to sum up my thoughts on how thankful I am for having people that are willing to listen to what I have to say. It's very meaningful, and I appreciate all of you sincerely and very much so. Like, I want to make sure that you don't, you know, think I'm joking or whatever here. But again, all the support that I've gotten over the last couple months, over the last exponential, right? But the last couple weeks especially, I've been very much so. Like, again, I've been poor for most of my life. And as of right now, right, January being not even halfway over, as of right now, January is the most profitable month in my YouTube career by like 3-fold. Like, and I'm only halfway through. So like December was the most profitable month for me. And I've already made like 2.8 times what I made in December and January. And the month is only half over. So I mean, that's a lot to contemplate, I guess. I don't know. But either way, I'm very thankful for that. Start saving. Oh, you bet. You bet. No, I'm going to put all my money in Bitcoin, of course. But instead of buying stocks, I buy PS1 games and sealed Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So, you see that? I'm like pointing at it with my perspective, but you see that right there? That is a sealed 36-pack Labyrinth of Nightmare. By the way, my apologies to the audio listeners. I know you can listen to this podcast on Anchor, right? Sorry about that. But that is a sealed 36-pack Labyrinth of Nightmare booster box. I bought that booster box for $75 a couple years ago, and it recently sold for about $1,500 a month ago. So if I'm going to invest, I'm certainly not going to invest in Tesla. I'm going to invest in sealed Yu-Gi-Oh cards, baby. Boom. You have 50 PS1 games from when my kids were young. Captain Spock, I will give you my mailing address and pay shipping. Send me a message. Send me an email, please. And this goes to anybody. Anybody. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's worthless. If you have got a PlayStation 1 game of any kind, sealed, unsealed, just a disc, whatever, and you don't mind getting rid of it, I will take it. I will even pay shipping. And if you really want me to like pay for the products as well, you know, we can if we can work something out. But Just saying. PS1 games. And if you want to send me images or screenshots, or I guess it's not a screenshot, like a picture, I would love that. I love the PlayStation. And maybe I'll play some PS1 games later. I don't know. Fun Police, $2.99. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. PS1 best console ever. Exactly. But again, I've been focusing on getting sealed PS1 games. As you can see, all these white labels here, those are all my sealed products. I've got Mega Man 8, Mega Man X5, Mega Man X6 sealed as well. I've got Muppet Race Mania sealed, right? I've got some others, but they're in a box somewhere. I haven't found them yet, but PS1 is my shit. That's my shit. That's what I had no friends when I was a kid, right? Let me tell you. No friends when I was a kid, right? Socially isolated. The only thing I did from like age 3 all the way to like age 12 was play PS1 games. Some PS2 games. I got a PS2 when it came out, like the Christmas it came out. But PS2 games were always too expensive, and the PS2 is backwards compatible. So what we would do is my mom would take me to like a used game store, and we would get like the cheapest PS1 games imaginable because, you know, they were old. So I mostly played PS1 games even during the PS2 era. So, but anyway, I love the PlayStation 1. It's very meaningful to me. So yeah, that's my shit. But yeah, thank you all for watching again. I've got to pee, so I will now start the outro. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, if you want to reach out to me, send me anything. My email is listed above in the chat, Andrea@speed.dog. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your day. Again, I might be streaming again later. And again, if I do stream video games, if it's a primarily video game stream, like for example, Sunday Runday, right? The commentary is all like, I don't necessarily just talk about the video games, right? And I know if you have the choice between a political stream and a video game stream where the streamer could talk about politics and you want to, like, that's fine. You can make your executive decisions. But if you want to, like, you know, sometimes I do video game streams and you want to come by and hang out and ask me a question. It's kind of like an open Q&A. That's usually what I do. It's just an open Q&A. So with that being said, thank you. Well, I turned out great. Very nice brain. I try my best. Thank you for that. But yeah, again, see ya. I'll be back tomorrow, 7 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern. Goodbye.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
Well, it was an amazing phone call that 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan. And it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ
and then they have cans of soup. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family.
And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president.
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is I'm coming back.